Hello everyone, welcome to a new Destroy Humans video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we're actually going to be taking the camera in the game and putting it in places we weren't intended to be putting it. Basically boundary break. Now you're probably wondering how I'm able to do this. Well, I'll leave a link in the description to a Reddit post teaching you how to actually use a debug camera in this game, and it only works on the PC version. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this and start looking at some things up close. First off, let's take an up close look at the saucer. Now we already know the saucer is very detailed, but we don't really get to see the inside of it that much. So let's take a look on the insides. Gotta say, Turnipseed does look kind of comfortable. If we take the camera inside the front of the saucer, we could actually see that the quantum deconstructor is visible. It's just tucked away until you switch out to that weapon. Same thing with the overheat indicators on the side. I'm looking at the bottom of the saucer. There isn't really that much to it on the inside of that section. But all these controls in this saucer, I don't get how Crypto could do this. He's really smart, to be honest. Now let's take a look at Crypto up close. Up close, the weapon detail is pretty nice. Inside Crypto's jetpack, it's pretty interesting. The fuel indicators are visible even when the jetpack is closed. And Crypto's got some pretty sharp teeth. And seeing it at these angles does make me kind of wish we did get a first-person mode. Maybe someone will mod it into the game eventually. I kind of doubt it, but, you know, you'll see what happens in the future. They even put details that you wouldn't even be able to see at all on these weapons, like the ion detonator. You could actually see the other side of the clip rotating. Sticking the camera inside of the Turnipseed house reveals that there isn't really that much in it. There's curtains on the windows preventing you from actually seeing the insides. The same goes for the little building by the dock, and the barn, and the silo as well. Here we can really see those curtains blocking out the vision. The inside you can't see them though. We can even see the insides of these vehicles by doing this. Nice details in it. We're going to look into these vehicles a little bit more later. Taking the camera up really high shows us how the map looks from above. It is kind of annoying that there is no top-down map in the game, like Destroy Humans 2 and Path of the Furon had. But with maps these small, I don't think it really matters too much. And since the game has such a better draw distance now than it did in the original, it's not as bad. We also get to see a lot of the surrounding area, which It doesn't really have too much to it. Alright, now on to Rockwell. First off, let's go take a look at the carnival. The Grand Circus. And there's nothing inside, just as I had expected. Now, what's really creepy is this. You may have nightmares about this. I may have nightmares about this. Now, because Crypto is further away from these humans, they aren't as detailed, and well, yeah, you'll see. Low poly human isn't real. It can't hurt you. Low poly human. It's really creepy. Their head looks like the Sims loading screen. Now, earlier I said that we're going to take a look at these vehicles again, and well, here we are with another vehicle. Now, people probably tried to peek inside these before. Maybe you've seen inside, maybe you haven't. I'm sure a lot of people have been wondering what's going on inside these vehicles. With the power of the debug camera, we could take a peek on the inside. And as you can see, nothing. There is nobody in there. Inside these houses, there's nothing either. Something this game does quite often is it actually has a window, and then behind the window is a 2D image of what the inside should look like. From far away, you can't really tell, but up close, you can tell it's just a picture. Going behind this picture reveals that the building is empty on the inside, at least from this section. Now, I saw this weird object in the building, and I'm like, what is that thing? So I look at it, and then eventually I go down, and it turns out that it's actually just part of the ceiling light. And now we actually get to see the insides of these buildings as well. And it is really nice on the inside, to be honest. It sucks that we can't go in here and hide. And they did put detail on the stuff in here, and we're not even able to see some of these things either, so it's pretty nice to see all these things. Now Crypto even has a wanted poster here too. Now you don't have to actually be using this camera to see this, but I just discovered it now, and it's pretty interesting. Also, I feel like this is an Easter egg on the left, this wanted poster for this Alden guy. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. I feel like it might be an Easter egg, but I'm not too sure. Inside diners, nice. Over here, once again, you don't have to have a debug camera to see this, but it's weird. There's this haunted swing set in Rockwell. You could get to it, but then Pox is going to start yelling at you that you're going too far away from the mission area. And a top-down view of Rockwell, very nice. You can even see how big the map is, really, compared to the actual explorable area. Also, take a look at Crypto on the inside of his saucer. Looks pretty cool. And the weapons look nice too, as well. The weapons always look nice, what am I saying? Alright, so Santa Modesta, a lot of these buildings are just the same from Rockwell. However, there are some differences. Like, right here we can see the bowling alley on the inside. Really cool. And some more cursed low poly humans. Now there's these bathrooms on the map in random locations. One of them has a little alien room, too. However, looking on the inside, there's no toilets in there. Nice cake. Cola. Top of the antenna does not have the Australia Easter egg that the original game had. And they even have a cactus too. let's go on a little road trip. So on this road, you follow it, and eventually it just leads into nothingness. And this mountain in Santa Modesta, in the distance, it's so massive compared to the actual town. And a top-down view, of course, because I like doing that. Area 42 doesn't really have too much stuff to look inside of. Most of these buildings are empty, of course. However, you can actually see the room where the mutants were being studied. Entering the elevator and just going straight down with a debug camera reveals that the room is right below the actual building itself. There's also some random soldiers just standing around on these buildings. Not even low poly either, so that's pretty weird. Uniontown doesn't really have too much to it. However, near the Maritime Museum, there is a boat in the distance that you can't really get to because it's out of bounds. But with the debug camera, we could get a little bit closer and see what it's like. And this boat is actually the same one where you have to go and collect saucer parts for the Furon Down mission. Same model, different place. There's also these little prison cells on Monroe Island. You can't really see into them. You go down the hallway, and then there's another hallway where it leads to nothing. You can't really see too much because of how dark it is, but with video enhancements, maybe you'll be able to see something. Yes! Over here, there's this little runway. Now when you go to this area in the actual game itself, Pox will yell at you because it's out of bounds, of course, which really sucks, because I really wanted to go here and just mess around. It's really fun to go to the runway in Area 42 and just fight soldiers endlessly because it's such a big open area. But yeah, you can see there isn't really too much stuff here. Most of Capital City is empty buildings, so there really isn't too much to see except here is something pretty interesting. The Finkelstein's building. Or is it Finkelstein? Anyway, this building, there's a little entrance on it on the corner. And from the outside you can't see down these hallways, but with the debug camera you can see that it pretty much leads to nowhere. Also the inside of the octagon, pretty empty, as we had expected. A lot of soldiers have been buried here, all unknown. And here's the crazy thing about this capital city. When you zoom out really far, you can see that there is so much land around it. It's crazy. I think this is the map with the most surrounding area. Imagine how much bigger the city could have been if they'd used a bit more of the land for the actual city part. I know that they wouldn't have done that because they wanted to stay faithful to the original, so they didn't add a whole bunch of new things, except they added dashing, which wasn't in the original game, which is an improvement. I like it, but they didn't add co-op because it wasn't near. It's so weird. Anyway, yeah, that's basically Capital City. Now let's go down to some other things like the menus and some missions.